and brothers. It is a Wednesday afternoon in Sydney today. Scott, aka sydneymgtow, here with you. Now guys, today I wanted to talk about the mainstream media glorifying and making apologies and excuses for criminal women with an absolute and complete double standard. Now, look, guys, I just want to point out, I'm fully aware that the Daily Telegraph is not the most fantastic newspaper. It is a little bit biased, but the problem is, hey, Danish MGTOW, it may be a little bit biased, but so is the rest of the mainstream media. So is TV. Hey, Misery Man, thank you, brother. All of these mainstream media outlets, the Daily Telegraph, Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 10, ABC, SBS, the 5 major TV stations in Australia, all biased, all leftist, all feminist oriented. It's almost impossible to find anything. Oh, Jason, I'm so sorry to hear you're from Oregon, man. That's like fucking SJW and Feminist Central, bro. Oh, man, I feel you. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Big love. I appreciate you joining. And I appreciate you standing up against those fucking pains in the ass social justice warriors over there. So big respect to you for holding on for that. All right, guys. So we have here broke, repeatedly abused, counseling, ballad of a fallen idol. Oh, I don't know who's idol because she's not mine. Exclusive, pop star bears soul on her turn to crime. Now, sorry, I was a bit delayed reading that, but I don't know if any of you guys have done an actual live stream on YouTube before, but when you look at what's on the screen, it's actually flipped from what it was, so I had to read that backwards. Now, at the front page, the catcher was underneath that main article. Singer Paulini has revealed how a failed album that cost me my savings was behind a rock-bottom spiral that saw her bribe a government employee for a driver's license. The former Australian Idol's bleak life, including domestic violence, is revealed in a letter used as part of her legal defense. So she's using the fact that she chose to be in a tumultuous relationship to defend herself against fraud and criminal activity. Fraud and criminal activity, bribing government employees. And she uses the fact that she's made poor life choices to excuse that. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't buy it, neither do you guys. Neither do the majority of the population, but it's this bullshit mainstream media that keeps indoctrinating us, that keeps telling us what's right and what's wrong, when they don't know what the hell's going on. They're sitting in the eastern suburbs in their city homes in their beautiful apartments, $120,000 a year wages, virtue signaling. They think the world's fucking dandy. They think they're sitting up on the top of this hill that they call the moral high ground. Thank you, Danish MGTOW. Absolutely. I do have a Patreon. If any of you do want to support me, you're more than welcome to. It will certainly help with the newspapers that I buy and the contents that I have to different information sources and purchasing microphones and purchasing extra data for my phone plan. At the end of the day, I will do all of this stuff for free for you guys because I'm here for you. And that's the whole purpose whole reason I started this channel. But, you know, it does help if I'm able to offset the costs that are involved as part of doing this for you on a daily basis. Spitting these daily fucking truths and dropping these truth bombs daily. Spitting red pills at you. Feeding them to you. Hand feeding you red pills. One after the other. Just like, you know, an endless feeding of red pills. Mate, I have got so many red pills to feed you men that I cannot do them quickly enough. I'm getting so many every single day. Every single day. I can't do enough videos to feed you all the red pills that I'm accumulating. Man, my boot's overflowing. I'm going to have to buy a station wagon soon. And after that, I'm going to have a freaking trailer behind me to carry all the red pills for me to deliver to you guys every day. Thank you so much, everyone living on the live stream. 11 thumbs up. Appreciate you, men. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, let's get this trending. Hit the thumbs up. Hit subscribe. Hit share if you're... hit subscribe and the notification bell next to the subscription button if you're not already a subscriber. I appreciate you, men. Share this on your Facebook. If you know anyone who hasn't yet seen the light of the double standards, please share this with them privately, by WhatsApp, text, however you want to do it, but, get this message out, man. Now let's turn to the special report on page 9. The special report about poor Paulini, the fraudster and the criminal. Now I'm going to flip the camera in a second because I want to show you guys a couple of the main headlines. And it's the typical fucking victimhood narrative. It's the typical, oh, I'm a poor woman and things were just too hard, so I had to resort to doing the wrong thing. All right, guys, when you see this, you're just going to shake your heads. Here we go. Here we go. I went through a very traumatic breakup. This was not the first relationship I had been in involving domestic violence and low self-esteem. Let me ask you a question, Paulini. Let me ask you a question. Who's the common denominator here? Who's the fucking common denominator? Now, men, when I was a kid, I got bullied at school at when I was in year 7 and 8, and I came home every day. Whoa, hey. That didn't. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't quite put that in the phone holder the way that I needed to for it to be secure. But yes, which stuck in my head for a lifetime. He said to me, "Is there anyone else at school that gets bullied?" And I was like, "Oh, no, it's just me that gets bullied." And he said, "Well, then maybe you are the problem." And guess what? My dad was right. I was the problem. I was the common denominator. And once I was able to know that I was the common denominator and that I was that this was my fault, not everybody else's fault. Because if I'm the only one getting bullied and there's 500 people in the school, whose fucking fault is it? Men, if you don't already take accountability and responsibility for your actions and everything that happens to you in your life that is not predetermined biologically, then you need to start. You need to start taking responsibility. Don't be like these women that are being glorified in the mainstream media for being fucking victims. Universities are teaching women to be victims. Mothers are teaching women to be victims. Like, my mother was an amazing mum, but she never turned around and said to me, "Is there anyone else that's getting bullied at school? Could this be your fault?" She was like, "Oh, it's okay, darling. Oh, it's okay. They're just mean." Yeah, they're mean. And yeah, things are going to be okay. But they're not going to be okay till you stand up and start taking responsibility for the things that you are causing as men. We live in a society, in a Western society, where women are not being told to be accountable for their actions. They're not being told to be accountable for the results of their choices, for the outcome of their mindset. And it's up to us to take the responsibility of teaching this to other men. When we see other men in a state of victimhood, we're not going to tell them to man up. But what we are going to do is bring it to their attention that they are the only one who can change these things. If they say, "Oh yeah, but, you know what you say to the men? You say, "No buts. You are not making excuses anymore. You're my mate and I love you, but I will not stand for you saying but, and making excuses for yourself." Teach them how to take responsibility for themselves. Bring to their attention what they are not doing to make their life better. Sam, I can't wait to get married. Oh, bro, 100%. You facetious motherfucker. I love you, bro. Appreciate you. Sergey, actions have repercussions. I also got bullied, but once they tried to hit me, it was on like Donkey Kong. It was known as the Day of the Bloody Noses. Absolutely. MGTOW down under. I agree. Don't get married. And so here, this was the thing. There was one other situation when I was in year 7 and 8, in these years where I got bullied. And there was this girl. I'm not going to use her surname, but her name was Vanessa. And I still remember her face. And she used to sit up towards the back of the bus. And sometimes when I had nowhere else to sit, I'd have to sit up there. She used to pick on me. She used to bully me. She used to push me around, physically harass me, push me around, you know, verbally abusing me, all of these things, you know. And it was a tough time because when you're the kid in school and you don't know that it's your fault and you're being bullied and you've got people like this that are constantly hounding you. There were so many days where I got home from school and I'd get off the bus and I'd be in tears because people would bully me so much for that hour-long bus ride to get back home. I eventually changed schools and things got a lot better because from the moment I walked in, I took responsibility for my own actions. But, you know, sometimes things have gone too far and you need to have a change of scenery to remove the irreversible cause of the problem. And which is why a lot of men choose to leave toxic relationships. And I applaud those people that have the strength within them to go and do that. Now, let's get back to this girl on the bus, Vanessa. So this one particular day, I'd been bullied day after day after day by her. I'd had so much shit put on me. And there comes a time when a man snaps. There comes a time when a man says, no more. Now, I say no more right now. And this is why MGTOW 2018 is going to be huge. But in the context of this discussion about what happened to me on the bus, I snapped and I said no more. I didn't even have the chance to realize that I just said no more. And because this woman walked past, well, this girl walked past and she hit me or she kicked me or something. She lashed out at me physically for no reason. I hadn't provoked her or anything. Maybe she said something to me and I responded a little snidely and she attacked me, something like that. But let me tell you, the moment she came in and she hit me, I fucking lost it. And I sent her flying across the other side of the bus. And I had her pinned into the corner. Her glasses went flying. And she wondered why. Now, I had a MGTOW the other day. And I won't mention who it was. But I know that he subscribes to my channel. And thank you for pointing this out. You'll know who you are when you hear this comment. And he commented to me after I mentioned that about 60 to 70%. Thank you so much, Chase Luke. Please send me your contact details. I'll be definitely take you up on that offer if I do come to Canada. So, sorry, where was I going with that? I love going off on my little tangents. But look, the moral of the message is, guys, everyone snaps. Everyone snaps. Oh, that's right. So my MGTOW buddy put up a post saying that I was incorrect about 60 to 70% of divorces being initiated by women. He said that about 90% of divorces were caused by women. And I said, no. I agree with you. 80 to 90%, around about 90% of divorces, in my view, are caused by women. Roughly, that's my estimation. Based on what I've seen, based on my experiences. My estimation, it's not rooted in scientific fact. There's no stats to support that, but that's my estimation. And let me tell you why. Because if 60 to 70% of divorces are, as the stats show, initiated by women, and by initiated I mean the woman's actually said, I want to get a divorce, then you've got another 30% that are initiated by men. And do you think those men initiate divorce when they're happy with the woman they're with? Michael, 93% divorce rate. I mean, no, look, from the stats that I've seen, hey Ninja, from the stats that I've seen, Michael, in the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and that's what I have to go off because I don't like to make estimations about these things because people come back and they tell me I'm full of shit. But at least if I go off fact, if I go off proven stats and government empirical data, you cannot come to me and say I'm wrong because it's fact. And we quantify facts with proof. So when people come to me and they say, 60 to 70% of marriages are initiated by women. Yeah, 30% 30 to 40% are initiated by men, but men don't go out of marriage unless there's a reason. And that reason is usually the woman. So it's probably pretty fair to say that based on the leaning we see of women initiating these marriages, you're probably pretty right with 85 to 90% of marriages being caused by women. Ninja, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. My accent's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of my mum making sure I pronounced all my words properly when I was a kid because she didn't want me to be a bogan because I grew up in country New South Wales. It's a little bit of having a lot of friends from a lot of different cultures, and also trying over time to become more and more articulate so I can get my message across when I'm speaking, and having debates with people so that I can make sure I win by doing the right thing. I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you very much. So I want to dig further into this article, guys. So I'm going to take this phone out of the holster again. Hopefully it doesn't go flipping and flying everywhere. Me too. What do I say? Yes, man. Yeah, look, absolutely. Abyss. It's important that we also do start talking about guilty women and not just innocent men. Because there are a lot of guilty women out there, and those women are not called out. And guilty men are called out, and rightly so. Just like guilty women should be called out, rightly so. So let's go back to this now. My finance, confidence, and finances were equally bleak. I was at rock bottom and couldn't see a way through it. Okay, right. So her confidence was bleak, and so were her finances. So what about the men who have had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees, have given away hundreds and thousands, if not millions of dollars of assets to their ex-wife, who chose to leave of her own free accord, which she's legally entitled to do, given that no-fault divorce was initiated in 1975, at around about the same time that the feminist movement was really picking up speed. Coincidence? I think not. So your confidences and finances are bleak, and you were at rock bottom and couldn't see a way through it. So, do you think it's fair to say, men, that when a woman leaves you and takes your children and takes your house and takes your money because she took the children, because the family court granted it to her, do you think that that would make your finances bleak? Do you think that would make your confidence bleak? I think it would. I know it would make my confidences and finances bleak. But yet, somehow, she's the victim, and we just have to put up with it. No more. No more, men. No more. If you're putting up with this shit, I'm telling you, as your friend, as a fellow brother, as a MGTOW, no more. Take responsibility and fix it. And if you can't fix it, mitigate your risk. Speak to a solicitor that specializes in family law for men. Yeah, thumbs up, guys. Everyone in the live stream, smash the thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's get this trending. I want to get this message out there. I want this gynocratic hypocrisy in the mainstream media to be front and center of everyone's mind. So when they see it, they just don't want to buy the newspaper anymore. And you know, it frustrates me that I have to buy the newspaper to get these, to give you the content. But I'd rather pay them for one newspaper than have 50 of you pay them for one newspaper. Right? And this is how we take our power back. By taking away the power of those who influence us. By refusing to buy into their message. By refusing to accept what they are putting out there as fact. There we go. All total coaching, mainstream media lies. Absolutely they are. Fucking full of shit. It's so feminized. It's so feminist centric. It's so SJW centric that it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, so we've already said I went through a very traumatic breakup. This was not the first relationship I'd been in involving domestic violence and low self-esteem. Paulini, you are the commentator. Stop it now. Number 2, my confidences and finances were equally bleak. I was at rock bottom and couldn't see a way through it. Well, let me get you a fucking torch so you can see your way through to the end of this tunnel. Go and get a job. Stop trying to be a singer when you failed and fucked up. And if you're going to continue to try and push your singing career, which you fucked up and failed on, then how about you go and get a job to fund you getting back into that career, right? And if you believe in yourself enough, you'll make it. But if you're not prepared to put in the hard yards, you won't. You won't make it. You will fail. And that applies to all you men as well. If you don't put in the hard yards, if you don't go MGTOW, if you don't take responsibility and accept that you are the only person that holds control over the destiny of your life, you're not going to come out on top, brothers. Do this for yourselves. Now, my failed album release had cost me my savings and the relationship with the record label. And this was a comment on her album flop. So my failed if I had a failed relationship with a woman and she wanted to try and take me out and try and get my cash, pretty sure that'd cost me my savings. In fact, just dating a woman will cost you your savings. It's just how it is. You know, and even if you're going to date a woman, you cannot just spend money on whatever she wants to do. And I'm sorry if there's anyone watching this that's upset by this, but you have a finite amount of time on this earth, and you have a finite amount of money coming in, and you have a finite amount of resources. The more resources you spend on something that is not an appreciating asset in terms, and when I say appreciating asset, I mean, if you're spending money on, dinner with someone, or you're spending money on, going to a museum or going on a holiday, that will not generate you a return on your investment. And if that experience for you is enough of a return on your investment to justify spending that money, then that's okay. But just know that you've got to accept that the return on your investment needs to be worthwhile for you to spend that money. Otherwise, it is a waste of time. Thank you, MGTOW Warrior. We are all MGTOW warriors here in this live stream. Thank you for being on the battlefields with me and listening to this message and sharing it with your friends and other fellow men so that we can all get red pills. Okay, next one. Yeah. So singer Paulini broke free from a violent relationship and lost her life savings on a failed album deal in the lead up to her making the most foolish decision of her life, bribing a government employee. So finally she's broken free from one of her multiple violent relationships, all as a result of poor choices. She failed in her album deal, and then she committed fraud by bribing a government employee. Okay, tumultuous life of 2003 Australian Idol, Paulini can be revealed as the 35-year-old prepares to appeal against her suspended jail sentence for bribing the corrupt worker to get a fake driver's license. So it's not enough. It's not enough that she's seeking victimhood to have people feel pity for her for committing criminal activity. But she's got to appeal it. She can't just accept responsibility for her actions. Men, this is common behavior amongst women that have never been taught no, that have been raised without a father. This is common. It's not absolute blanket, but it's extremely common. Samuel, always some excuse for why women commit crimes. It's never a woman's fault when they commit a crime, but if a man commits a crime, it's his fault. I know I'm getting a little pink here, guys, but I've got the aircon off so you guys can hear me more clearly, and it's just a bit of a warm day today. So let's go on the next bit here. Went through a very traumatic relationship, very traumatic breakup from a tumultuous relationship. She wrote, "I'm embarrassed to say this was not the first relationship I'd been in involving domestic violence and self-esteem." So she's embarrassed and she wants people to feel sympathy for her. I'm sorry, no fucking sympathy from me. In addition to the breakdown of my relationship, my failed album release had cost me my savings in the relationship with the record label. When you take a business risk, prepare for it to fail. I just don't understand how you think that just because you enter a venture and just because you freaking go into some sort of an investment where you think you're going to make money from it, just because you get on TV, it does not make you a star. Doesn't make you a star. It just means you're someone who got on TV. Here we go. The letter exclusively obtained by the Daily Telegraph reveals how the former star of the Bodyguard musical, was at one point left virtually homeless and had to move in with her parents at Mount Druitt, as well as the shame she felt after having supported them her whole life. Well, boo fucking who. You had to move home with your parents. Big deal. Do you know how many men have to move home with their parents because they're the only people that give a fuck about them after a relationship breaks up, and all the men come into white knight and all the women tell them that they're a bad guy and that they're at fault? Fuck out of here. Full of shit. Such a lame excuse. And here we go. While conceding it was no excuse. Yeah, it was no excuse. She was at breaking point when she decided to pay a corrupt RMS employee $850 for a fake license, even though she was only a learner driver. So rather than actually going through the process like everybody else and driving for the required amount of hours and learning how to safely drive unaccompanied, you decided to try and fraudulently bribe a government official to get a pussy pass and get ahead, hoping the fact that you have a vagina will be enough to convince someone that they should give you a driver's license that is not only a privilege and also not an entitlement, but that is something you have to work for. I was at an all-time low in my career where my confidence and finances were equally bleak. I was at rock bottom and couldn't see a way through it, she wrote. I was completely overwhelmed and did not feel like a role model to my family or fans. The lack of a driver's license was yet another layer to my lack of self-worth. So let me get this straight. Just because you weren't confident and you didn't have a heap of money, that excuses you not sitting down and thinking, what can I do to fix my situation? I'm sorry, but that is a fucking cop-out, Paulini, if I ever heard one. Felt I was completely overwhelmed. Oh, poor Diddums. I get overwhelmed sometimes too, but you know what I do? I deal with my shit and I keep going. I keep pushing forward. I keep working hard. I keep hustling. I keep doing these videos for you men while I work and try and get sleep somewhere in between. I keep fighting. I don't just give up and play the victim. And I did not feel like a role model to my family or fans. Oh, so because everyone didn't look up to you, that somehow gives you a quote unquote, and pardon the pun, license to bribe someone for a license illegally. Karuanavali, I'm not going to even try and pronounce that. I've had too much of a big day. So Paulini said the decision to bribe corrupt RMS employee in July 2016 was a quick fix. In haste, I made the extremely foolish decision. Okay, now, if you guys notice the two names there, you'll notice that they are both islander names. Now, I do apologize. I don't know if she's Samoan or Tongan or you know what particular type. Oh no, sorry, she's Fijian born, so that's looks like a Fijian islander name. Thank you. I'm glad that I was able to clarify that because I wouldn't want to unfairly taint anyone. So she's actually seen a Fijian islander. Hey Eric, ginger all the way. She's seen another Fijian islander and thought that because they were both Fijian, that immediate, and because she's a woman, that gives her a pussy pass to think that stuff like this is acceptable. Bribing government officials. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Little did the singer realize police were looking at the driving instructor that she tried to bribe. After learning she was distributing dozens of fake licenses to family, friends, and members of the rebels bikies. Vafali, who gave out at least 40 fake licenses, has only been sentenced to 12 months of home detention. None of the people who obtained fake licenses were changed. Wow, the plot thickens. I didn't read this far into the article before. This just opened up a whole new can of worms. So not only does this woman think that she's going to get a pussy pass and also try and use her nationality to leverage something, on top of that, on top of this, wow. the driving instructor that she was trying to bribe had also given out 40 fake licenses. So this other woman was taking bribes at $850 a pop, 40 bribes. You know how much money that is? It's like 36, 37 grand of cash in hand. That's like $50,000, it's like $60,000 worth of taxable income. Wow. Just fucking wow. The level of audacity of these women is fucking unbelievable. Wow. Okay. Whew. Man, I'm getting fired up about this shit. Right, let's go on. Wow. My parents, family, and church instilled a moral code in me which is clearly not reflected in my offending behavior. Oh, you think? She said, all I have known is to use my voice to support myself and my family and to try and make a living out of what I do best. I strive to be a good person every day. I am a hard worker and provide financially for my family. She also explained the guilt she felt at letting down her fans. I hope I gain their forgiveness. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let me finish this shit on a high. So it's not bad enough that you keep making shit relationship decisions. It's not bad enough that you won't take responsibility for yourself and go and get more money through other means other than how you want to get money. And then you can't see a way out. So instead of actually looking at yourself in the mirror and self-reflecting and finding a way out of it, like real men do, like MGTOW do, like decent women that are out there, which in the Western world, I feel are a dwindling minority. You also say that your failed album releases cost you your savings and your relationship in the label. Well, so when guys have a traumatic breakup, suffer from domestic violence, have their confidence decimated, have their finances decimated, they're at rock bottom, they've lost all their savings and their relationship with their job, especially if there's false allegations involved, and they still find their way out of it. Do you think you could try and get your license without bribing a government official, Paulini? Think you could try that? Think you could take some responsibility for your own actions? Unfucking believable. Just gobsmacking. Seriously. And you get a fucking front page glamour spread on a mainstream media newspaper that's in every news outlet in Australia. In every service station, people are seeing your face all made up with fake up and fucking your hair's done. You're wearing the nice pretty dress. Oh, everyone's Pauline's so beautiful, poor girl. Fuck you. Complete bullshit. Women are simply not held to the same standards as men, period. Michael, sydneymgtow, women's bad behavior is glorified. It is glorified. Absolutely. Oh, wow, MGTOW, holy shit. Paulini is under investigation by Flemington police for burning my mate's house and ride. She gonna blame that on choosing a shit partner? She gonna blame that on choosing a guy who's an alcoholic rather than saying, I'm gonna date a guy who's not on drugs or who's not an alcoholic? For real? What the fuck? Jesus. And I guarantee you what, she's going to get a pussy pass for that. She'll probably get another front page spread on the cuckstream media. What a crock of shit. Unfucking believable. And we're the bad guys, men. We're the guys. We're the bad guys. We're the ones that have to man up. We're the ones that have to step up. We're the ones that need to be better, apparently. Guys, I want you to go to, not Google, but duckduckgo.com. Because Google is completely cucked and has SJW-based search algorithms. Search for Alex Haddad and Paulini. Alex Haddad is spelled Haddad, and Paulini is like Pauline, but with an I at the end. Now, if you don't believe me that Google is completely cucked in their search results compared to DuckDuckGo, open a window, two windows side by side in your browser. And I want you to type in ISIS. Don't hit enter, just type it in. And look at what the suggested search results are for DuckDuckGo. And look at what the suggested search results are for Google. And all of the politically incorrect results. You know what? Fuck this. I'm doing this shit right now. Let me open a Google incognito window so that it doesn't bring up any historical results, so this can't be perceived as being biased. So, got my browser here, right? Right, so ISIS. Is it going to do it in, let's say ISIS. Here we go. So we got ISIS News, ISIS Flag, ISIS Australia, ISIS Goddess, and ISIS Leader, okay? Now, I probably should have done this before, guys, but it's just something that came onto me randomly at the last moment. I'm going to quickly download because that was the Google search app that I just used. Now, this is the DuckDuckGo search app. You can go to DuckDuckGo in your browser, but I'm going to type ISIS in here. Here we go. ISIS. ISIS terrorist group, ISIS Goddess, ISIS execution videos, ISIS beheading, ISIS flag, ISIS Egyptian Goddess, ISIS videos, ISIS king, ISIS leader killed. If that is not cucked results from Google, I don't know what is. So guys, if you're using Google as your search engine, start using DuckDuckGo. You can go to www.duckduckgo.com. You can, if you use Google Chrome, you can go to duckduckgo.com and it will prompt you to add the add-on to your browser as a search engine. I do that now, so whenever I type in the URL field, the search field, and hit enter, then that will bring up DuckDuckGo search results for me. Google, your search results suck. Now, Michael Sydney MGTOW, on the other hand, a man in the USA who cannot pay his child support because he lost his fucking job gets thrown into jail like a criminal. Exactly. So a man who's basically completely destroyed and had everything taken from him gets thrown into jail and treated like a criminal. But we have women getting front page model photo coverage in Australia and getting their victimhood vindicated and being pandered to and catered to by the mainstream media in the West. Like fucking celebrities. What a load of shit. Anyway, men, thank you so much for joining in the live stream. We got 35 now and 34 thumbs up. Anyone who's in here that hasn't smashed the thumbs up yet, hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down below, bang the bell next to it. 100% she's going to get a job at a modeling agency. Absolutely no repercussions. Ridiculous. If you live in Sydney, hit me up with your contact details, sydneymgtow@gmail.com. Looking forward to traveling all over Australia later this year. I'm catching up with all you men and meeting with fellow MGTOWs like I did with one of my MGTOW brothers that I met through this last night out at Penrith Panthers. Had a great dinner there. And yeah, man, go about your business. Go to work. Go do some hustling. Go spend time with your kids if you've got kids. Go your own way if you don't have kids or a girlfriend. Do what you got to do to make things work for yourself. Accept responsibility for your actions. I will stay Ginger Eric Matt. Thank you, Ram. Thank you very much. Chase in Australia right now is 6:36 p.m. and over. Finished work and I'm doing this video for you men like I do every day. I'm in the trenches. I'm fighting for this. I put my face to the videos. Eventually I'm going to lose my job, but I don't give a fuck, because you men are more important to me, and getting the truth out there is more important to me than any job you could possibly put on the plate. And I know that I'm employable, and I know that men are valuable in the workforce. So if I'm going to get fired for my opinions and my truths, then I'll go and find work with someone who, who does exactly, job's coming, but MGTOW prevails. I'll never be without an income because I'm resourceful enough. And I never tell people I can't see light at the end of the tunnel. I don't say to people, oh, I need to bribe a government official because I'm going through a tough time. I just fight through it and I make it work. And you men can too. Chase, hey, you never know, man. But if I do, I'm not even stressed, right? It's just how it is. All right. brothers, MGTOW brothers, thank you for tuning in. I love all of you. I appreciate you. Share this on Facebook. Get it out there. And peace to all of you. See you tomorrow.